I need to send this package.
All right, let me just weigh it.
Keep it moving. Okay, next one.
Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. I believe it's time to begin. We have a momentous day ahead. There will be updates concerning the SAVVA platform itself, and we'll also be hosting guests today. And the very first guest I would like to invite is the founder of, I'm not even quite sure how to describe it, the Paris.Camp movement. Just a second. Let me get used to this new environment. He's the founder of the Paris.Camp movement, an absolutely phenomenal phenomenon in Paris. Igor Smirnov, let's welcome him to the studio. Igoresh, hello.
Hello, my friend. Hello, Sasha. Thank you. I really like that you called it a movement. Yeah, what else would you even call it?
Listen, this is certainly more than just a social website. It's a genuine organic movement, a phenomenal gathering of exceptionally talented, productive, and truly fascinating individuals who have come together through your diligent prayers and considerable efforts. Indeed, many participants reside in Paris, making the name Paris.Camp quite apt. However, people from all corners of the globe are also involved. In a nutshell, how did you achieve this? We will delve much deeper into the Paris.Camp movement later on. Okay, but just in a few words, what and how did this miracle suddenly come about?
Yes, thank you. Indeed, as we often say, it's true that everything happens for a reason. And indeed, all these various global events and occurrences significantly influence people's movements and travel. And so, just as in many historical periods, Paris is once again emerging as a prominent hub of some kind of movement and intellectually minded people. From these creative gatherings and events, they suddenly find themselves right there in Paris, unexpectedly part of something significant. And I, someone typically on the sidelines of these cultural events, suddenly find myself in Paris too. And it's obvious that some kind of magic is unfolding. Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to convey it with the world, to show the world what brings me joy, what truly excites and delights me. And so, in essence, I'm not sure we will talk today. And actually, I wanted to quickly verify something with you now. My apologies to our dear viewers, my associates from the Paris.Camp movement. As you aptly described it, my associates are writing that some of them can't access this link. I'm trying to ascertain if we did everything correctly, if I did everything right by dispatching the invitation. So I hope there's a way to check on that.
Well, look, I can already see that we have 11 people watching the stream right now. So at least the information has reached those 11 individuals.
It reached them. Great. Okay, so we can keep going.
Yes, maybe more people will join.
Yes, we'll do this. So let's see. What's our plan? What are we doing? And what do we want to achieve?
Look, here's what I was planning. First, we'll talk a little bit about the SAVVA platform itself.
Okay.
I'll be presenting a new client, as today marks our very first public showcase of the platform's redesigned interface. I'll briefly explain why and how this transformation happened, and then I'll demonstrate its new appearance. It'll be a brief presentation, about 10 or 15 minutes, I think. Following that, we have something quite risky scheduled on our agenda. Our initial intention was to actually launch this system into production on the Paris.Camp website, specifically during this live stream broadcast. How will it go? No idea. It's nerve-wracking. Nevertheless, we'll try it out. And after that, we'll take a closer look at the updated Paris.Camp website and dedicate more time specifically to the Paris.Camp project itself. We'll explore what exactly is happening there. Why, in my opinion, this is a truly phenomenal story that extends far beyond the realm of crypto. So, what specific things are planned there, and what exactly do you have in mind?
Yeah.
And yes, there's hope that some other participants will join our conversation. Let's keep the suspense, but they are very interesting. So that's the plan.
Well, great. I think we'll try to do it within an hour.
Yeah, we initially planned this for about an hour. There will definitely be a Q&A session at the end. If any of you have questions, please feel free to post them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them all.
Sounds good.
All right then, I'll slowly move on to the first part of the presentation of the new SAVVA client.
Go.
All right, I truly hope everyone can see my screen right now. This is what the new SAVVA platform's new interface. It's been greatly updated. We endeavored to listen to all the feedback and address all the concerns raised by our users, because the system has been in production for almost a year already. And quite a few people have already tried it. A huge thank you to all of them. Everyone has been very supportive of this project and sees great potential in it. But there were also a ton of complaints about things not working here, not working there, this being unclear or that being too complex. And we decided to take a rather radical approach to the situation, to rewrite the entire interface completely from scratch. I think it's healthy for any project to rewrite everything from scratch. They say that Gogol rewrote Dead Souls 9 different times. People are probably lying, but he definitely rewrote it at least 3 times. So after about a year, we realized that we weren't very happy with how our client was developing, that it had become quite inconvenient to work with. It had accumulated elements that, in my opinion, are better off being simply removed, things that hinder, and we ought to strive to make the client exclusively designed from the perspective of being user-friendly and convenient for our users. So the main idea behind what we did was to simplify everything as much as possible to make the concept of this website extremely, extremely simple and clear. And all the complexity inherent in such complex projects as social network, crypto technologies. IPFS is also in there, along with all those complex technicalities. The idea was to move it backstage, somewhere out of sight, so it wouldn't spoil the experience for those not ready to dive into technical difficulties, preventing that part from hindering their comfortable use of the system. So, what exactly has changed? First of all, the website's layout has completely changed. The layout. I'm not sure how to say it correctly in Russian. Well, like the design solution. If you recall, on our old website, we had these clunky tabs that somewhat evoked the feeling of the 1980s. Now those tabs are all gone, and instead, as you can see, a navigation panel has appeared on the left. This panel is always at your fingertips. It's designed to be very dynamic. It includes all of our shared pages, pages for top-performing posts, pages featuring the newest posts, and also pages of posts specially selected for you by the system. It also contains every category that is already configured within the social network itself. The version of the site we're looking at now, this is the social network that is actually called SAVVA. It's a small, not very popular web network, which is dedicated, in fact, to the SAVVA project itself. That's why there aren't many posts here, not many participants. It serves as a kind of demonstration, a demonstration product where anyone can come, observe how everything appears, and then determine for themselves if it's captivating or if they would like to construct such a website for their own use. So when we take a look at some really functional websites, like for instance the Stihi do Toyo website, it features an incredibly detailed category system. Therefore, on the left side, instead of these 3 unassuming categories you currently see on the screen, there will actually be an entire category tree. You'll be able to select various topics and expand this tree to explore them further. The specific focus of the Stihi do Toyo site is poetry. So naturally, the categories are things like lyrical poems, poems about the weather. I don't remember, there's a whole story to what's in there. So here's how this navigation panel is organized. It is structured in a very, very, very advanced manner. Firstly, it's something that you can easily pin and unpin. In other words, you can anchor it within the interface or take it out of view. And for that specific function, there's this small circular button available. If I click on it, this whole panel slides off the screen, no longer obstructing your view, thus opening up more room for content. And truthfully, content is the absolute core focus on the SAVVA platform. In this mode, when the panel is hidden on the left, it's actually always accessible to you. You just have to move your mouse over to the left side. It immediately slides out. You can pick something else, like for instance, select comments, and then it slides right back out of everyone's way. So what else is important? It's crucial that it's made. It responds very correctly to the window size. So if our website is opened on a small device that has a small window, the panel behaves in a sensible way. Look, I'll try now on the screen. I'm not sure how this will look for you to start reducing the width of the window. You'll see that at some point, certain things will start to happen. First, the panel has now disappeared. The number of columns is gone. If I continue to move this further and further, we will eventually reach a view that is extremely convenient for viewing on a mobile phone. So this is basically the message feed that we'd all want to see on our phones. But where did the navigation panel go? It becomes this small icon in the top left corner. Click it, and it's still here at your fingertips. You always have the option to choose it, switch to a different mode, and then naturally read through the comments. And conversely, if we widen the window, it joyfully reappears, returning to its place. So this is a very convenient general. So I've actually jotted down a few notes for myself so that I don't forget to tell you about something important. I'll be glancing at them from time to time to make sure I don't miss anything. So indeed, what else is there? Many criticisms were leveled against the editor, mainly because, as a lot of you are aware, our posts are edited in Markdown format, a format that Wikipedia once invented. It's a very popular format, yet for many it remains quite inconvenient and difficult to use, and the editor we had previously was also a bit clunky and cumbersome. So how exactly did we attempt to simplify it? I'll launch it now and press the Create New Post button. Our favorite feature, the one that truly distinguishes us from all other social systems, is that if you have subscribers, if you have people who support you, they're essentially paying you for your future posts, not for the ones you've already made. So when I open it, for instance, I'm opening the editor right now to craft a new post, and the system immediately tells me that if I publish this post today, I will instantaneously receive this specific amount of funds. So I won't have to hope that someone will like my post or that something else will happen. I'll receive this money instantly the moment I publish the post. While it's not a huge sum of money, the fact itself is, I believe, very, very positive. So this is our editor. I can hide this so it doesn't obstruct editing. The editor is now very simple. Essentially, all the editing now happens in a standard text field. We have an option to see how this text will actually look. It's very similar to what we had before. So you can toggle this preview on and off. What else? You can add different files here. So you can, pull up the files panel and upload a file, for example. Well, it doesn't matter. You can try to upload any file here. Some image. After that, if you click on this image, you can do different things with it. For example, you can use this image as a cover for this post, or you can insert this image directly into the post itself. So if we've inserted it into the post, we will then see it in the preview. What else has been implemented? A highly convenient feature that I always found lacking in our prior system is the capability to insert images directly into the editor using a simple copy-paste function. So, for instance, if I were to capture a screenshot right now, well, for instance, a small screenshot, something like this one here, I can simply paste it directly into the text field. The image will be inserted, uploaded neatly, and then automatically saved to the files, so you won't even have to give it a second thought. What else is great? So, this feature, this capability, it was already present, but now it's been refined to be a little cleaner. You can expand this editing field to fill the entire view, the whole window. And within this window, you have the ability to compose and instantly visualize how the post will ultimately appear once it's officially published. In this mode, working with files is still possible because there are 3 secret hotkeys that are truly very beneficial to be aware of. The first button is Ctrl+F. It won't work for me right now because in presentation mode, it gets intercepted by the streaming app. But just keep in mind that if you press Control F, the file panel will slide out. If you press it again, it will slide back in. Control P naturally stands for preview. You can open and close the preview with that, and Control M from the words maximize and minimize. It's a button that toggles the maximize and minimize mode. And in this mode, I think the editor has become much clearer, simpler, and people will make fewer mistakes when creating new posts. The next very important thing, the next very important difference from the previous system. You see, despite all the warnings and extensive training provided on how to properly create posts, many posts within the old system were still, unfortunately, created incorrectly, despite all the multifaceted precautions. Essentially, people either didn't fully grasp something, made a mistake in their markdown formatting, or positioned the wrong language incorrectly. So, with this new system, before any post is officially published, we consistently go through a comprehensive review process. A final review stage. This means at the bottom of the editor, in place of a send button, there's a preview button to see how the post will look. We're now entering a new mode where at the top there's a small compact block, which indicates that this is the final verification before the post goes live, and below is the complete post, precisely as it will look once published. This gives you another chance to make sure everything is done correctly, that all the languages are right, and that all the chapters, if there are any, are in their proper places. If everything's okay, we hit the publish button. If there are any mistakes, we go back to editing. So that's the editor. Okay, I've covered all that. Let's move on. The profile. There are some small changes to the user profile. So each user has their own specific profile. Well, it's a short description of who they are and what their settings are. You can get to it just like before by clicking the arrow next to your avatar and going to My Profile. Thus, everything here has also been simplified quite a bit. This means there are just posts, a list of those who support the author, and a list of those whom this author supports. I support quite a few people, and here's my wallet, as a matter of fact. It's a pretty interesting feature, letting you peek at how much someone has. But since all this information is public anyway, we're operating on an open blockchain, there's absolutely no point in trying to hide it. Therefore, it's quite simple to access anyone's digital wallet and check the exact quantity of SAVVA tokens they possess. So, a person can edit this profile accordingly in this specific section, or rather in this area. On a person's profile page, if it's their own profile, there's an edit button available. So, there have been some minor adjustments made here. Firstly, we have a section that operates independently of the domain. Two words need clarifying. The SAVVA platform is an open platform. You can create many different social websites on it. It is not merely a single company, nor is it exclusively one social website. And the number of websites that exist and operate on top of the SAVVA platform is quite substantial. Each of these websites is identified by a specific domain name. For instance, the website we're currently viewing uses the domain name savva.app. However, the website organized by Igor Smirnov has the corresponding domain name press.com. Typically, the domain name is identical to that of the website itself. So what has changed here? These settings are universal across all domains. This includes my avatar, my profile picture, and my registered name, my distinct identity within the SAVVA platform. It's typically marked with a special badge, signifying it as a registered name, much like you'd see on platforms such as Twitter or X. This name is unique. Therefore, if I have registered the name Alex Na, no one else can register this name. If you receive a post from an account with the registered name Alex Na, you can be absolutely certain that it came from me, because only someone who possesses my private keys can send it. There's a domain-dependent section. You can customize yourself differently across domains. Here you have the option to specify how you wish your name to be displayed on this website. Typically, it's just your first and last name, quite straightforward. There's also a section for some brief information about yourself. This new version allows for this information to be in various languages. So if you wish, you can write it in multiple languages, and your name will then be displayed differently based on the selected interface language. It will appear one way for English speakers, another for Russian speakers, and yet a third way for French speakers. Additionally, it's now possible to incorporate some external links. Typically, when people wish to elaborate on themselves within their profile, they often think, I'm on Twitter here, YouTube there, and Facebook over here. Now, the ability to include these links has been introduced. The system itself is quite intelligent. Once you add a link, it automatically recognizes the social network and adds the right icon. No need to worry about that. All you have to do is add the link. Well, there are two more parameters, similar to the old system. Let's not dwell on them because otherwise we'll just drag out the presentation. Okay, moving on. NPO. The NPO is a very important feature. And today, Igor and I are definitely going to talk about this NPO based in Paris. What is an NPO? An NPO is a non-profit organization it's a certain type of organization, let's say. So how does this work technically in our system? So we have a social network that runs on top of a blockchain. And so every author has a private key that they use to sign their posts. But sometimes a group of people needs to have a single account so that the group can publish posts from one shared account, but not just publish posts, but also perform all other functions too. Like, for example, sponsoring someone or supporting someone. Not on behalf of one person, but on behalf of a group of people. This structure is what we call an NPO within the platform. For understandable reasons, given that the entire platform is designed to champion and financially support talented content creators and producers. And traditionally, this really is a form of patronage. Consequently, if we end up with a group of patrons, then by its very idea, it really shouldn't be profit-oriented. That's why the idea itself takes the form of a non-profit, a non-commercial organization, an organization of donors, so to speak.
Sash, can I add something? I think this might be important. For instance, here in France, where our operations are based, it also ensures avoiding certain, shall we say, taxes, unnecessary investments that are absolutely not required. So when you're operating as an NPO, there's inherently a more understanding and lenient approach.
Yes, and it's important to understand that this is a real NPO, meaning what we have in our system. These are truly groups of people who support various talents or projects. We will definitely be talking about this today. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming up. The NPO setup is quite simple. You can simply add an NPO on its page. The cost is literally just the transaction fee, which amounts to a mere fraction of a penny. After that, for example, I am a member of 3 different NPOs. It's visible to all in the system, so hiding it would be quite foolish. So if we click on an NPO, we will discover that it also has a certain number of members. Just briefly, how is this technically structured? It's a type of contract that essentially functions on the blockchain, carrying out all the duties of a typical user, posting content, liking, commenting on, and supporting others. However, this contract is actually overseen by a collective of individuals. Every member of this NPO possesses varying rights. Well, for instance, you can administer this NPO, thereby controlling who has which specific rights. You have the ability to add a user and grant them only a restricted set of functions. For instance, within this NPO, there exists an account with just one role, that of a poster. So the only thing this individual can do on behalf of this NPO is publish a new post. They cannot spend even 1 penny from this contract. All they are capable of doing is sending a post. Accordingly, there's a whole set of different roles that can be associated with users. Thus, an NPO admin can create a group of people and assign varied roles. This offers an interesting way for them to function. Let me stop here concerning the configuration because these roles can be added or removed, and that's quite a complex matter. But why did I even bring this up? Because a truly significant change from the previous system is exactly how these NPOs are integrated into the interface. Take a look if I'm currently on the website and I see my avatar, and right next to that avatar there's a rather mysterious button depicting a group of people. This button only appears for those who are members of, well, a certain number of NPRs. Should I click on this button, the system will then present me with a selection. This particular choice effectively dictates under whose identity I will be operating on this platform. My default operational state is as myself. But I can click this button and say, now I'll act on behalf of, say, Paris.Camp. What does that imply? It means if I go to compose a post and then preview it, I'll see the post will actually be published not under my own name, but rather on behalf of the Paris.Camp organization. And that's pretty much the extent of the complexity. When dealing with NPOs, I can select whose name I'm operating under at any given moment. And if my rights within that NPO permit it, then I perform all actions in this system on behalf of that organization. I publish posts, provide comments, offer sponsorship to individuals, subscribe to other users, and engage in liking or disliking content. I can switch back to my personal profile anytime and continue as myself. The interface has undergone significant changes and simplifications. Okay, let's quickly move on. Fundraising. Just a few words. This is a very important part of the system. Again, there will be news today. Within this platform, you can raise funds for specific projects or to provide support for certain individuals. This activity is only just beginning. Igor will certainly elaborate on this. And we've already spent a significant amount of money supporting various interesting people and projects, but that was done in a somewhat different form. But now you'll have the ability to organize these kinds of fundraisers directly within the platform itself. I'll pause here. For all the details, stick around till the end. It'll be fascinating to uncover the intricacies. All right, I'm moving on. Promo codes, just 2 words. The system has a concept called promo codes. What are they? They're a great way to bring new people to the platform. Because crypto technology is complicated for many people, practically insurmountable. So attracting people to this kind of system is always a huge challenge. So we came up with this concept. Each individual has the ability to generate a promo code, effectively creating a specific quantity of tokens that a new user will acquire upon joining the platform. So we generate a promo code, obtain a specific unique identifier, and then forward this identifier, this particular link containing the identifier, to an individual through either email or a messenger application. And if that individual clicks on the provided link and proceeds to register within the system, then all of those tokens will be directly transferred to their personal wallet. The real beauty of this entire endeavor is that for someone to make it happen, they really don't need anything at all. No wallet, and absolutely no prior knowledge of crypto. All they need to do is click on this link, get to the page, and on that page, they will guide you step by step. They set up a wallet, generate an address, click a button, and after completing these steps, they become a legitimate crypto user, fully equipped with their own wallet and unique address. And what's more, they already have some tokens in their account, and they can start doing things in the system, creating posts, liking content, and so on. So that's promo codes. Okay, next. Oh, IPFS. That's a complex topic. Just a few words. Look, just a couple of words about the overall architecture of the system itself. This system is designed as a decentralized social network. What exactly does that imply? This signifies that there is no single central company or even a centralized authority that controls the activities of other individuals. In a sense, it's merely a program that anyone can easily install and activate. And networks like the one I'm demonstrating for you can, in principle, be launched by anyone without even needing to ask for my permission. So why has this become possible? Because 2 things exist. This system is founded upon 2 decentralized concepts. The first is, of course, the blockchain. This means all posts are registered on a crypto blockchain. Blockchain is a distributed system. It lacks a central office that can be pressured, reported to the police, and closed down. This is something that exists in this specific way. And so when some posts are posted, well, posts are posted, some of them, it doesn't matter. I'll just leave it like that. When content is published on the SAVVA platform, the following 2 processes take place. A post is created, I'll mention shortly, where it's dispatched. Then a minor transaction occurs on the blockchain. This transaction verifies that the post was indeed authored by the person holding this private key. That describes the post registration procedure. So to what location is the post itself ultimately sent? The posts themselves are stored in another decentralized system called IPFS. IPFS is a kind of It is a file system that is distributed across the globe and similarly lacks a central office or a centralized storage facility. It is a type of content distribution where content is stored on various distinct servers. It is a very intricate and complex system. I suggest we probably organize a separate stream about how this architectural solution on the SAVVA platform actually works. In what way it works with the blockchain and in what way with IPFS. What I want to say today is that this version now includes full support for working with IPFS. Two important things. First, you can connect a local IPFS node. For non-technical folks, please bear with me for a minute. This is important to state. I'll explain why. No. If you install this particular IPFS program on your computer, you will then be able to retrieve all the content from all the posts directly from that particular decentralized source. Decentralized. From this decentralized file system directly. So what exactly does all of this mean? This signifies that should someone publish some content, for example, on the stihi.io website, and then for various reasons the stihi.io site were to be closed or made inaccessible, or perhaps something else somehow prevented you from gaining access to it, you would no longer be concerned about this situation. This is because you would simply retrieve all these published entries directly from your personal local machine, utilizing the IPFS itself. So, in some sense, it is a system that is incredibly challenging to bring to a halt. We usually don't we try to promote this specific part of the system, but the architecture itself is actually designed in such a way that the existence of the website itself and direct access to it are not really crucial for this entire system. It can in fact function perfectly fine without any websites whatsoever. And the second thing is, besides a local IPFS node, you can also specifically configure it so that your personal posts are kept not on the general IPFS, but rather on particular services that you yourself manage and oversee. I should probably stop talking now, otherwise you might get entirely bored. Right. But why might this be necessary? It's a crucial thing to consider. Within the system itself, because it manages content storage on IPFS, there's a specific limit to the size of a post. It's actually quite a small limit. So if you ever find yourself needing to embed very large video files or extensive audio files within your posts, the system is designed in a specific way. By default, it will reject it. It will say the post is too large. However, by making use of these clever IPFS settings, you'll still be able to take responsibility for storing your own content yourself. And then the question of your post size becomes moot, because you won't be posting it through the SAVVA platform itself. Instead, you'll be posting it directly to your own IPFS servers. I'll pause here so as not to cause public alarm. Okay, let's quickly move on. AI. AI is indispensable, right? So this particular feature within the new system is still very much experimental. We've just recently commenced development on it. However, I'll demonstrate what I'm referring to. I believe you'll find it quite engaging. Observe. Again, within our settings, you have the option to navigate there and establish a connection to any AI service you desire. Today, we all use it. I don't think there's a single person left who doesn't use some form of AI. We've now made it possible for the client to directly connect to an AI service, and this enables such a delightful capability. So look, for example, let's say I'm starting to write a post. And for example, I'll just write something here. All right, let's keep things moving and jump right into the AI discussion now. Well, for instance, let's all begin by utilizing our updated interface. I'm going to deliberately introduce an error here, just like that. And after that, instead of just previewing the post, I can click the AI button. What happens then? Your personal artificial intelligence editor will then connect and endeavor to refine the post you are currently drafting. Correct any mistakes, prepare it for publication, and fill in any blanks. What does that look like? When I click on it, it goes through a whole sequence of its own steps. It performs various functions. We still haven't completely finalized how it's actually going to function and exactly what kind of work this AI editor will be doing. But for right now, at this very moment, I can already demonstrate to you what exactly transpired. So it has reviewed our post. First, it corrected the errors that I had intentionally placed there. Secondly, it observed that our post was missing a title. If it wasn't present, it tried to come up with one by itself. And on top of that, it also translated everything into all the languages the system supports. This means I no longer need to concern myself with individually translating my posts into other different languages. I truly believe this represents an immense and substantial breakthrough. If it works well and reliably, and it will work well and reliably sooner or later, this will enable us to achieve what I've always envisioned from the very beginning. The entirety of the content that is published on the SAVVA platform will be made available in all the languages that this social network supports. And this ultimately achieves that truly phenomenal effect where as soon as you switch the interface, not just the interface language, but absolutely everything changes, including all the content displayed within it. And if everything operates smoothly in this manner, we'll encounter a truly delightful scenario where, for instance, a French-speaking individual will open the Paris.Camp website with the interface set to French, and everything will appear in French for them, including the comment sections and all related items. And they will also be composing their posts in French. But the people who open that same site with the Russian interface will see everything, including the content itself and the comments, in their native language. And I think that's a very, very interesting feature. Okay. And I'm almost finished. Regarding censorship, it's absolutely crucial to mention this so that everyone understands, especially those who might be encountering this system for the very first time, that there are answers to these kinds of questions. So here's the thing. Whenever an individual or a company launches a public social media platform, they are unequivocally accountable for the content that users share and display on that particular website. Therefore, the administrators of a website should always possess the capability to somehow react to vandalism or any other such unwanted activities. Inappropriate messages. This entire system has all the necessary support in place. This means the website administrator possesses the full capability to block any specific post. The administrator is provided with a unique button on each post that grants additional functions which remain hidden from a regular user. So an administrator can block a post or the entire user. All this functionality exists in the system. I just wanted to emphasize that it's there, so don't worry. So if you attempt to launch your own website on this platform and make it publicly available under your name, just like Igor Smirnov launched Paris.Camp, of course, Igor Smirnov is responsible for the content that is posted on that site. If anyone attempts to post inappropriate content on his website, Igor Smirnov possesses every capability to block such an individual and rid the website of any uninvited guests. But what exactly makes the SAVVA platform so great? It's an open and public platform. A person who has been banned may very well disagree with that decision. In a regular social network, if a person has no other options but to beg the administrator to unban them within the SAVVA platform, that individual can readily create another website containing all the very same content, and they themselves will act as the administrator for it. And accordingly unban themselves on their own site. This isn't directly related to our topic today, but it's an interesting point to emphasize once again. So, yes, there's an option to promote your post. Just a word on that. So if this is my post, I can click the promote post button, and there's an opportunity to purchase something here. For example, right now we only have announcements available. The NFTs haven't been completed yet. We'll finish them. They were present in the previous system, but we simply haven't had the chance to finalize them in this one. What exactly is an announcement? It's quite straightforward. See, if we visit a leaders page, besides the content itself, there's also this block with announcements. And the user who publishes a post has the option to place their post in this list of announcements. For example, if it's very important, or rather if they want to attract attention to their post and promote the content a little, this is done very simply. There's just a promote button directly within the post itself. And here it indicates that posting content specifically on this website would cost around $4. Now, this is very important information. These $4 represent non-profit. They don't end up in my pocket or any company's pocket at all. All of this money is transferred to a smart contract called buy and burn. This implies that all these funds are used for purchasing SAVVA platform tokens, which are subsequently burned. So the more people buy announcements, the higher the price of a SAVVA platform token. All right, I'm just about finished. I've got one final page remaining, and I believe it's quite significant. So I'm moving on to it now. Today, I would like to officially make an announcement that the version I am showing you today is slated to be released as open source by this Christmas. This is a personal goal I've established for myself. It is understood that any software we release as open source will need some polishing and fine-tuning to ensure it is convenient for users. However, the client that you're currently seeing will be fully accessible and openly available for anyone to utilize by this Christmas. You will be able to download it and no payment is expected at all. Feel free to use and install it. The only thing you need to grasp in the license is that it clearly states that as long as you are utilizing the official SAVVA platform's smart contracts, you are free to do anything you wish with this particular client. You are free to rewrite it, add new functionality, or do anything else you wish. So those are my plans. I guess I'll conclude my presentation here. It really went on much longer than I had anticipated. My deepest apologies. All right, Igor, I'm passing it back to you.
Oh no, I'm just reading the comments here about poems and auto-translation. First of all, the translation, yes, thank you so much. It's really a cool thing. And about the poems. Who said it right? Elena says there are other topics besides poems. Yeah, of course.
No, I'll briefly return to the topic of Paris.Camp in general. I'll probably try, since this presentation isn't particularly prepared, right? So you're explaining what's what and how things are. I should probably explain for those joining us today who are not part of the Paris.Camp community. So it's genuinely a somewhat sporadic occurrence then. It was a last-minute project, purely a product of a certain need, I suppose. A need born from the existence of so many absolutely phenomenal, incredibly cool and talented individuals. I must reiterate this point once again. People who currently reside in Paris and with whom I have been fortunate enough to cross paths. And when I go to certain concerts and realize that for the usual ticket price, you can gain something significant and so much more. The discussion then moved from one point to another, and the conversation just kept on developing. Well, essentially, Paris.Camp came into existence in January. I'd like to offer a brief historical overview. To take a step back, in January, I extended an invitation to our very first participant to Paris.Camp, this particular platform that today we have September the 9th month. Do we already have something like 18 participants? We'll probably have about 8 more joining us in the next 4 weeks. We're currently onboarding them. And for me, it was really important that these individuals, the people who come here, they're not just some bored participants. They are genuine, talented individuals who are actively striving to develop captivating projects that I truly believe are worthy of our support. And truthfully, I'd really like to introduce our number one participant, the very first person who ever joined us. It was a friend, and I felt it would be simple to invite someone familiar, since the potential risks were all mine to bear. So it wasn't just some random person. He's a talented guy that people in Paris know, Dima Makarov, the life of the party. A one-man band coming up with tons and tons of, and what's more, what started back in January, Dima and I discussed it. Dima, hello. You'll see him now.
Dima, hi.
What began as an idea to provide support, for instance, we were essentially gathering funds for a tour. The guys put on this fantastic stage production, an interview-style play featuring Vertinsky, and we were actually raising money for this short tour. I can tell you that in September, now that some time has passed, what's behind us? Not just that tour. We've created an entire musical, a brand new musical, for which the wonderful, exceptionally talented Vadik Korolev composed a new album. Absolutely. So, we also have amazing actors, talented musicians, and skilled arrangers. There's a young designer now, Artem Blasov, who also joined us very recently. I mean, it's just insane the things happening, this chain reaction. And right now we're talking about the projects I'm working on. So Dima and I were seeing something there, you know. In October, we will have the premiere of our new musical titled Northerner in Paris. I just wanted to. I actually asked Dima if perhaps he could connect, and also, can you guys hear me?
We don't hear you. The person who conceives of something and then makes use of it uses the platform,
I have to.
a circle of friends, without any filters.
A circle of friends. Nothing's more dangerous than a close-knit group. There. Thanks so much for inviting me to this meeting today. This is already my 5th Zoom call. I literally just got back 20 minutes ago from a recording session, finishing up our album Interview with Vertinsky, which is scheduled for release in January. That's another Paris.Camp project. And it is absolutely amazing indeed. I mean, we began with the fact that Igor and I initially met and just became good friends. There was absolutely no financial aspect to it then. Now there is, but back then there was no money involved. We were just friends, plain and simple. And I'm constantly surrounded by all sorts of projects that are always in need of funding. Often I funded them myself from my own modest resources. Sometimes simply by earning from one project, then transferring those funds to another, something along those lines. But Igor said, why would you do it that way? Let's formulate and establish some sort of a fund that will actively be involved in these projects. And truly, the very first thing we undertook was that specific concert tour. We traveled and performed the show in 5 cities in 7 days. We are currently finalizing the album, and it's scheduled for a January release. The recording of this album, which required a lot of expenses along the way that weren't initially accounted for. We recorded the drums, the strings. The mastering process is still ahead of us, among other similar tasks. So that's several thousand euros that were just needed along the way. And in other situations, with the project in progress, where would I get funds? Well, I just have to take them from my own wallet and put them in. Do I need that money? No, it doesn't matter. But thanks to the fund, it's pretty great. In addition to that, what I particularly appreciate about this project is how it's so multivalent. Paris.Camp is essentially one of the many facets of the SAVVA platform, isn't it? Because the SAVVA platform, as I understand it, can also engage in charitable activities, assisting children and helping animals. And I know a website for dolls is being put together. It's based on the SAVVA platform, and I hope it will launch soon in Holland. This project is called Kulturmultur, and I'm currently collaborating on it. And Paris.Camp is probably the biggest core. What is it really? Not just a meeting place. A central venue where benefactors and individuals seeking assistance for their projects can connect. It functions as a central hub for innovative ideas, a core for generating fresh perspectives and new meanings. Paris.Camp. While not personally acting as a direct beneficiary or profit taker from these specific projects, is a platform where any individual can participate and bring their own projects to fruition. Well, you see, at this very moment, the projects I'm personally involved in, the ones where I'm an active participant, include our theatrical production. The first Interview with Vertinsky, made earlier, is now being developed through Paris.Camp, the upcoming album, where Paris.Camp serves as the main hub for the record, essentially functioning as a record label or a recording center. Yes, it's actually a brand new musical production. Severianin in Paris, out October 14th. By the way, I invite you all. And now, since Igor has also become part of the Eckhart School, we have tremendous additional opportunities available here. This also includes publishing activity because together with YMCA Press, my curatorial project is still ongoing during this period. And in this project, there will be publishing activity that takes place. So at the end of the year, we're releasing a collection of the poets who participated. And for next year, we've already got an agreement to publish from very major authors. Maria Stepanova is a classic. You've probably read the book In Memory of Memory, so a selection of her poetry. We'll release it with the YMCA Press, and Dmitry Denyapin. You can see what it's all about. Paris.Camp serves as a production hub for both theater and film, especially since they're collaborating with Aristarchsian on a project. Additionally, it operates as an educational institution, a book publishing center, and a facility for recording and launching albums. And there are, in fact, many other projects that can be added as well. And we are all working cooperatively on this. I genuinely hope that we will be searching within the Paris camp, exploring what it has to offer. We'll be looking for partners for any and all projects. So how exactly does this operate these days? Obviously, Igor is investing his own funds into the production of the Severianin play in Paris. But how does he invest? He doesn't simply give me an envelope filled with euros. Instead, he provides me with a specific resource with SAVVA's help, and I'm already distributing it. And we have 10 participants in this project. That's a significant number. It's a large, indeed a very big project, a grand play. So, but I'm just going to say.
May I? While you're remembering, I'll tell you something. Actually, before the establishment of this fund, which you're now accurately characterizing according to our discussed requirements, something truly incredible occurred. It's what Sasha and I discussed early on before any participants joined. It would be truly wonderful if the people who receive this as a subscription, don't you agree? So envision a more equitable Patreon one that allocates 100% of the funds contributed by a supporter. Will eventually reach you, the author. And the authors within our system, after a period of development, will eventually begin to support one another. I recall that you were the very first one to do so. It actually happened just 3 or 4 months ago in April. I still remember Sasha called and said, look, Makarov is sending funds. I think you sent it to Varik Korolev back then.
Firstly, I always strive to support all interesting publications by providing several thousand contributions, consistently backing them from my own pocket.
I mean, we're starting to think in terms of SAVVAs, right? I'm saying that's what this is.
That's right. But I hope everyone will understand and appreciate it. But until people start giving it a try, it's, as the saying goes, it's pretty much like with, until you start trying, you won't start enjoying it. So what's my point? Thanks to the people who came to the platform, we are already creating these projects for them. And Igor not only invested his personal funds to purchase these SAVVAs, which we use, these SAVVAs are steadily increasing in value. In fact, they've already appreciated by a significant percentage since we first began. So this already represents a greater amount of funds than what was originally invested. Right. But besides this, we're bringing in major institutions. Look, for instance, Y.MCA Press is a well-known publisher. They've got a name and a strong reputation. 50 years ago, they published Solzhenitsyn. They possess ISBNs and codes, and they've established a name in the global publishing market, but they're currently lacking funds. They lack the funds to repair their roof, host guests, arrange presentations, or publish books. However, we're here to assist. And we have the resources, we have the desire, the creative energy, we approach them and establish these connections. It's a rather intricate situation. It's not like they're open to everyone, just willing to print books with anyone, right? And we are continuing the book series that YMCA published a century ago, which included works by Tsvetaeva and Georgy Ivanov, and now it will feature prominent contemporary authors. Or, as another instance, ICAR is recognized as the largest private film university in France, and it stands as one of the most prominent in Europe, fully equipped with state-of-the-art facilities and everything needed. I'll reveal the figures and inform you that the budget for the play we're currently producing is nearly 20,000 euros. Is that a substantial amount, or is it a small sum? That's the question. Because, of course, for some plays, that's not much at all. However, for us, as individuals in exile, those who've moved and so forth, it is a significant amount. And obtaining such funds would have been challenging, but well, thanks to Igor and the fact that through him, through his merits, we have EICAR with us. Those 20,000 are solely allocated to the creation of the play. As for the rehearsal facilities, just imagine this. We'll have a 10-day rehearsal period. That's 6 complete rehearsals, each lasting 5 to 6 hours, including sound, lighting, and so forth. If we were managing this ourselves, we would have needed to locate suitable venues for that duration, lease the premises, secure sound, lighting, assistance, and all other necessities. ICAR is supplying all of this to us through our cooperation. Igor discovered the very bridges that brought everything together, so we, And why am I bringing this up? Because in this situation, we're not merely individuals. We're essentially expanding through this mutual cooperation and alliance. I believe these are simply two vivid illustrations, but there could be several more. And I'm optimistic that as time progresses, their number will continue to increase. Because the fact that we're doing this collaboratively, helping each other, and this assistance manifests in various ways through financial contributions, enhanced reputation, and overall support, that is arguably the most crucial element we have here.
Thank you very much. I mean, yes, we could definitely discuss, and we have many more plans that we haven't even revealed yet, but I really wanted the person who is actually carrying out the work, hands-on with this. What's important, Sasha, I probably want to take a moment now to elaborate a bit on the non-for-profit organization you brought up. We've got a really interesting and novel development to share.
Just a moment, 1 second, Igor. First and foremost, Dima, thank you so very much. I am incredibly happy to see you. Well, for now, yeah, I can't really hug you right this moment. Igor and I will save that for a little later. And with you, maybe another time. Thank you so very much. You are a very significant part of Paris.Camp and this entire story. And the way you embraced this project with such enthusiasm for us was an immense joy. Your mere presence was enough to bring us great happiness.
We are now realizing concepts that would have taken me many years to approach and develop. And just like that, by the end of 2025, we'll be making what I was talking about last year a reality.
Look, yes. Well, you see, it's a crypto story and a very interesting one. We essentially launched almost a year ago. This implies that just 1 year ago, the SAVVA token had absolutely no value. Today, the capitalization is approaching $1 million. This means we have an increasing number of opportunities to finance all these projects. And an important detail that I feel Igor didn't quite highlight just now is that we have indeed discovered this remarkable combination, a bridge between the virtual realm of cryptocurrency, which operates independently of the real world, and genuine individuals and their real-world projects. Because this non-profit organization which Igor established is genuinely one of a kind. It receives funds gathered through cryptocurrency with a commitment that once a project achieves success and begins generating earnings, those earnings are then reinvested right back into the very infrastructure that supports it. SAVVAs in various forms. In most cases, it is explicitly stipulated in the contract that these profits will be utilized to acquire and subsequently burn SAVVA tokens. So all the holders of SAVVA tokens become beneficiaries of the various projects that this entire system finances.
And that's the wonderful combination that, honestly, I've never seen anywhere before. Usually, crypto and the real world exist independently. SAVVA represents a fortunate convergence of circumstances where backing real-world projects and actual individuals aligns with this whole crypto narrative. I believe it's very...
Sasha, that's actually a really great comment, because Dima just mentioned that SAVVA has really grown as a token. And I think the guys, all the participants, they understand this isn't just some kind of handout of funds for a project. Everyone understands that SAVVA is a tool. It's indeed a financial instrument. The core reason why our approach, the general difference between merely funding a creative individual and what's actually unfolding at Paris.Camp, what's developing on the SAVVA platform, is distinct is precisely due to the emergence of this passive method of support. If you're talented, if you're doing something cool, well, you shouldn't have to depend on living from paycheck to paycheck, right? So it should be like this. You step in, and this is your bridge into the world of crypto. And it provides. I'm looking at Dima right now. He dreams of owning his own theater. You're going to have your very own theater. Do you understand? It's our
theater. It's awesome. Do you understand what this really means? These aren't just theories. These are real projects, real funds, real people who keep showing up. And right now they're joining just because, well, they trust us. They say, listen, I don't quite get it yet. I'll jump in and start doing it.
Igor, listen, just so you know, usually when I constantly find myself, upon hearing that something is about to happen, immediately filled with a growing sense of skepticism that starts to consume my thoughts. Could you tell me exactly what's currently going on, specifically regarding the book printing project? Because Dima Vedenyapin joining our platform is also an incredibly significant event, as he is truly first-class, top-tier, and simply the best in the realm of poetry.
I guess
And he and Dima just, They've truly established such a high standard that our rather humble organic community is still, shall we say, endeavoring to adjust to the fact that they are now sharing the same platform with these accomplished individuals. And the fact that a project is now being launched to publish these books, as Dimitri mentioned, through the publishing house, continuing the century-old book series, and which will be genuinely funded by our crypto platform, this is an absolutely phenomenal development.
This is truly phenomenal. In fact, I shouldn't be the one to explain it. Dima should, because the true brilliance of this concept lies in keeping the exact design of that SAVVA book. Do you understand?
We're getting a little off topic, but
It's the Strugve family.
yes.
Strugve, the founder's family, it's still them, their descendants' children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and we're in touch with them. And these people, you are absolutely correct, will not engage in conversation with just anyone. They are so incredibly fond of this specific event, which Dima frequently organizes for them, where he invites a contemporary luminary, such as our Dmitry Vedenyapin, a truly outstanding and remarkable author, who arrives, discusses a past figure, and then recites his own poetry. And the name of it is just like The Poet in Time. It is truly a bridge connecting these different eras for the audience assembling there. And the initial publication will be an almanac compiling the finest contributions from this series of gatherings, which Dima so masterfully arranged and executed. Yes, this is the very first of the 3 books we have agreed to take on and bring to fruition.
I genuinely hope that this series will endure and proceed, but for now we simply cannot plan for too many future installments. We won't do it, and it's not because we lack the ability to publish them. We could probably publish 20 of these books, you know. It's more a question of quality, you see. In prior years, when the YMCA published numerous books, this particular series never managed to produce more than 2 or 3 titles annually. And presently, there simply aren't as many classics available, you see. Maria Stepanova, an exceptional author, expressed, "It is truly an honor for me to be associated with this esteemed series. In other words, its inherent value must absolutely not be diminished by using just any random names. We'll be very selective because it's an award, a sort of honor, to be published in the YMCA Press Selected Poetry Series. YMCA Press plus Paris.Camp. That's what will appear on the cover now."
All right, everyone. In the interest of time, I just want to briefly pause.
Keep it brief, Igorek.
Briefly, yes. So first, we're launching an NGO. This presents an excellent new approach, not only for navigating my apologies, I misspoke, for optimizing taxes, but also for exploring how we can effectively introduce physical funds, seamlessly transition them into cryptocurrency, and conversely, how we can extract them without incurring exorbitant prohibitive penalties. But what's also interesting is that we are now commencing a truly captivating and remarkable project alongside Artur Aristakisian, who has indeed made his arrival. Artur has also become a Parisian now. This is a man who directed 2 films, with one being released in the 90s and the other in the year 2000. They were shot on 16mm and 32mm film back in the day. So the films were pure festival material. They won awards and were shown all over the world. This is a big name. Artur's work is actually taught in film schools, and now this man is here with us in Paris. What's more, he's a Paris.Camp man now.
A camper.
He's a camper, yes. Beyond that, we're not just brainstorming, we're actively filming, and we've even had a few people join our team already. These individuals are part of Artur's team and will be taking part in the project. We are now filming Artur Aristakisian's 3rd feature film, which will be shot on 16mm film. It is absolutely, again, a truly unique, Artur-esque style. And his synopses are also quite compelling and interesting. I was just at the Venice Film Festival, where in private conversations, when you talk to jury members, people in the industry, Artur's name is a big deal. And the fact that we were fortunate enough to work with such a person, and it's all under the Paris.Camp umbrella. We've involved the schools, and Carlton is also providing us with a bit of help. However, the funding is being channeled through...
Well, listen, Igorek, just a couple of words, literally 2 words. I know the full details, but just tell us that a fundraiser will be announced very, very shortly. And the benefits that you guys spent so long working out, just a few words.
Maybe we can show it. I just want to briefly show it because it's a feature.
Yes, if you can show it on the screen, that would be great.
I think I'll just take 2 seconds here, share screen, just 2 seconds, okay? And I'll show you, for example. Okay, so what's at Paris.Camp? Okay, well, let's go with this one. Wait, stop. That's not it. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, probably now. Okay. What do you see? Sorry, I only have one screen, so I'm jumping from one to the other.
We see your post.
Okay, so today, when our interface updates, just finalizing, we have a couple more. So what are we doing? This new feature will be available on the Paris.Camp website, where you can raise funds for a particular very significant event. I'm not entirely certain, but it's basically a type of crowdfunding. Wouldn't you agree? So right here, we're specifically trying to collect 30,000 euros for purchasing additional film stock to shoot Arthur's art house movie. For instance, we'll feature a variety of prizes and different tiers, even including the opportunity to be part of. If we do manage to get somewhere, we'll go to not if, but rather when we attend festivals. There will be various festivals scheduled, but also to join the film team for a stroll down the red carpet. At the festival, that's certainly one of the advantages. We'll have various screenings, and furthermore, the actors, singers, and musicians who are currently on Paris.Camp, they've consented. Most of the people I've talked to have agreed to be the ones to provide the prizes. So, for example, you might get to attend a concert by Dima Makarov, or his play, or even Vadik Korolev's. Yeah, well, this will also serve as a way for us to express our heartfelt gratitude to our generous sponsors and all those individuals who aspire to participate in the creation of a truly modern cinematic classic. Basically, our primary mission is to introduce exciting projects and really ignite people's enthusiasm. It's evident that by raising funds via Paris.Camp, the momentum we're witnessing makes us hopeful for an even larger final outcome. And all of this is very much a tangible reality. Again, I'll remind you, back in January, Dima and I launched him as the very first person on Paris.Camp. Now there are 18 authors, and we're not adding more. We're receiving huge projects, and new features are constantly arriving, bringing fresh opportunities to create things. So, Sasha, I want to express my gratitude to you. Firstly, just as the ideological inspirer and the one who you're very good at praising others, and quite modest, of course. Because you're the brain, you're the person who is the brain. Yes, so thank you very much. It's all just beginning, as we've been fond of saying for months now. But it's real. It feels like you've really started. The gears are turning.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. Let's gradually bring things to a close now. I believe we still have a very important part remaining. We still need to launch the new interface on the Paris.Camp website, which is a key task. And while you were so wonderfully describing all the incredible things that have been happening, I went ahead and updated the servers.
Okay.
And now on the screen we see our previous Paris.Camp website. Just a second. Please, would you mind doing a quick refresh? Voila.
Oh, la la la. Simplify? Yeah.
Yes, we finally launched. Hooray.
Awesome.
Well, I suppose we'll be bringing our program to a close today. Essentially, everything has been accomplished. Dima, Igor, thank you so much for connecting with us. Now let's keep progressing. It's only going to become more engaging from this point. And a big thank you to everyone. I'm not sure, but if any questions were to suddenly arise, I'm probably willing to stay a bit longer and answer them. And a huge thank you to you all. Let's make sure we meet again in our future sessions.
Let's do it. This is great. Cool format. Thanks.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.